Guys, I thought I was going to stream live, but I'm not sure how this is going to work. So we're going to give it to the expert, Joe, over here and see what happens. But hi for now, and let's see how it goes.
Joe's the live stream Grinch. Yeah, so when you like put it up and down, you'll hear, and then you'll hear. No, you can just be like, when you do it, you have to be like.
Okay.
People have rings on and they don't realize, they like, and they start whacking it, and then you hear the whole thing when they're recording.
I love your accent. I love the New York accent.
Accent? I don't have any accent over here. How you doing?
Over here?
I don't have any accent. You guys are from Philly. Come on.
Over
Please.
here.
I'm over here with the Rocky twins.
I like that, the Rocky
I put
twins.
these on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's on? Oh, they're not on.
What's the expert audio guy's name?
Vince.
Vince, okay. Vince, man, all you guys are my idols. I'm a technology dummy.
Not me. I can't even,
All right.
I can't even do my own Facebook videos.
All right, you guys all in?
You and me both, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we're across from each other
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah, so I didn't get any heads up on anything going on, so Joe,
Okay.
how do you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I trust Joe.
Are we on?
Anyone that has my favorite movie out there, he's all right.
All right, 3. You ready?
I gotta set this up.
All right. You might want to tell your followers that we're just about to start.
Okay, guys, we're just about to start, so hang out, listen, and there'll be more to come after this. This is just an introduction. I'm with the experts here. This is not my technology. You know that.
Yeah, so this is the beginning. We're getting set up. He sets up to look at this side. There's another picture that's going to come across on this side.
Okay.
When you guys speak, the voice goes into there. When we speak, the voice goes into here. And on the video, he matches both the voice and the video, and it becomes one. So like when it'll keep going back and forth. So when we're talking, it's not just all of us in this room. It's one of us talking at a time, and you'll see it'll pan.
That's great. He does
Yeah.
that, because I tried that with iMovie, and I had to throw everything out the window. I really was at the end where I couldn't match it up. It was just.
He's professionally trained, this kid.
I was.
He's like a ninja.
I was at that limit. I was like, this is something.
All of it makes a lot of noise. So if you're,
You hear it in the,
careful.
headphones.
Yeah.
See, like even like,
Sounds
like
so-
it actually
Just
helps. It helps people, as you see, he stopped right away. When somebody talks, you can hear it in your headphones, and it's so
Yeah.
you can't like interject. When people kind of scream over each other.
It's so nice. Okay, this is what we aspire for, my listeners. So let's put some good energy out that we get something professional, because you guys all see my other lives.
Just be careful with, like, try not to bring your hand in this area.
Your big mallets.
I'm never in the right place.
Vince, I'm gonna need you to
Cousin.
keep an eye on the time for me.
Okay.
I got a hard stop at 6:30.
This doesn't show me. Can I see the time?
You have a sundial?
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think I can
Siri.
check the time while that's recording.
Set alarm for 6:28.
This guy can't even check the time? You got him doing the video? He doesn't even know how to tell time. Yes.
You're good.
And that's what Angel's for.
Good on that side.
Go by Angela, Angela.
I
Yep,
call
we're
her
good.
Angel because she's
Is
my
the-
cousin, and
Is
she's
the
my
light good?
angel.
Is it facing good? Okay.
You like the way it's facing you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I couldn't get everybody in the picture, so.
Oh, you
You
did
have
get
to turn it sideways.
guys in here.
I
You
know,
can get
so
me
we
out.
don't
You can take
exist.
me out of it and just have her and you guys.
No, it's okay.
As
We
long
got
as-
some great guys over
as
there.
long
You
as
guys
you're
can't
happy,
see 'em.
Angel.
You can't see them, but you'll be able to
Thanks,
hear them.
Vin.
And everybody's good on the
I'm
side?
Brian. That's Vincent. I'm Brian.
Brian.
You ready? You know all their names?
Brian.
Gina,
Vincent.
Angela, Angel, Joseph, Vincent,
Winston.
Winston.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome to the American Sidebar Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Fitzgerald. Along with me is
Brian Mason.
Brian Mason. Today we have on the show Gina. Gina, what's your last name?
Well, I just go by Dr. Gina.
Dr. Gina. So Dr. Gina is here with us. You are a jiu-jitsu black belt.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, under Daniel Gracie, Henzo Gracie, yes.
Okay. You got your doctorate in counseling?
I got my doctorate in occupational therapy,
Okay.
undergraduate from NYU, and my master's from Thomas Jefferson, and my doctorate from Temple.
Okay. What? And you're also a medium.
I'm also a psychic medium.
Okay.
That's by birth.
Awesome.
Not by school.
You're an overachiever.
I was just going to say the same thing. We have a little bit of an overachiever in the studio.
You know, it was
Oh,
easy.
wait. Cancer survivor.
Oh, cancer
That's the most
survivor.
important.
Okay, yeah.
Cancer survivor.
I forgot about that. You know, by his stripes we were healed. But, yeah, 2-time cancer.
How long have you been cancer-free? Actually, before we get started, Angela Shapiro's here with us as well.
Yes. Hello.
Angela's the one that got this all together.
Yes,
She's the
my
one that
cousin.
introduced us.
She's my angel. So her name's Angela, yeah. But Angel from me, our grandmother was Angelina, so she was named
Okay.
after her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's part Italian, I heard.
Yeah, she's
Just smoke.
like she's 100% Italian.
Yeah.
I'm 3/4. I got a grandmom that's Irish and German.
Oh, so there's some good in the Irish. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Brian.
So, how did you get started in all this? So you started, what came first out of all these expertises?
I have to say, mediumship came first because I didn't know, you know.
Okay.
I was a little baby, child, and I would wake up and it would look like there's monsters around talking to me. And I didn't understand till later because I'm seeing them as they died. So if they died in a car accident, I'm seeing them. Or if they're old, and as a child, old was scary. Old people break down sometimes, you know.
Is it like The Sixth Sense?
I did not see the movie. Can you believe
Okay.
it? But based on what I've heard,
He's dead the whole time. It's crazy.
yeah, and I can't believe I haven't seen.
I just
that
ruined it.
Thank you,
movie.
Joe.
But I knew the ruining of it, so I just haven't seen it. But
But
My-
yeah, the premise is the same thing. He's
Uh-huh.
he's a normal kid, but he sees they're stopped at a traffic stop, and the kid can actually see that there's a biker that comes up on the side and he's dead, and he looks over at him and he tells his mom, "Hey, there's a dead biker sitting next to me," you know.
oh,
And they
mine
have this,
mine
like,
wasn't
chat,
like
yeah.
that. They only came at night. As
Okay.
soon as the lights got dark, they would come,
Okay.
and I would cry. My grandmother tells me my mother got killed when I was a couple months old, so she thought that I was just traumatized,
Wow.
and I needed her to sleep with me. I needed lights on, but it was
There's a lot to unpack here.
there's a lot to unpack.
So,
lot.
did you? And you can stop me if you don't want to talk about this. But did you see your?
I didn't see
Okay,
her
okay.
killed. You know, I was 2 months old.
Okay, got it.
But I'm sure, you know, as a child, your subconscious mind is
Yeah.
open and, you know, experiencing whatever.
Did
it
you? Do you see? Can you see specifics with people? Did you know like who they were and?
At that time,
Yeah.
I'm going back as far as I can remember. We're talking 2, right?
Mhm.
Probably. Alls I knew is they were scary and they would come at me and the lights would be off, and not only did my grandmom have to sleep with me, but she would have to wrap her arm around me because I was so scared. But I used to have these little fairies come too, and they would protect me. They came from the garden. So I would see them.
The only fairy that hangs out with me is Brian.
Don't ask, don't tell, Joe.
How is it different now, Gina?
How's it different now?
Yeah.
God, we're talking so many years ahead. How's it different now? It's evolved from that to now. We're talking like now, you know, however many years from when I was a baby is so different because I control it now, which took me probably till I went to college. When I went away to college, I went away young to college and got my own apartment. It's my story, but I wind up in my own apartment in New York, thrown in this at like
There's probably
16.
a lot of dead people walking around New York.
Oh,
She'd
oh
hang
my
out.
God!
She
I
would
used
hang
to
out
go.
with them.
Yes,
She would hang out with them.
sometimes at like 1 or 2 in the morning, I'd feel like anxiety and stress. So I would go take my walk down to a couple of the parks down there I used to like, and talk to them because I would hang out. And then on the F train, there would be a lot of messengers, and I would hang out with them and talk to them too.
What's
to
a
get
messenger?
You mean, I mean,
a messenger?
dead people, you mean.
No, he would be alive, but yet they were still connected to the other side. People would think, they're crazy or whatever.
So what is a messenger exactly?
They come here and they give us messages. So
Okay.
literally I would bring this guy a plate of food. He was on the F train.
Mhm.
And I'd bring him his food. And he had long dreadlocks and he'd sit down and go. So I don't think, you're knowing what that next trip and the next semester will be. I think maybe you got to take a left. Like he'd start giving me messages.
Mhm.
He was my messenger. Homeless guy on the F train that would sit down there, and I would bring him the food and sit there. Meanwhile, I didn't have money to go to these Ivy League schools I went to. I didn't come from that.
Did it make sense to you though when he was
Yeah,
selling
yeah.
you stuff?
I
By
took
the
the F
time.
train as a kid.
Yeah.
It's starting to make sense what I saw on the train.
By then, it made sense. So anyway, I worked in a strip bar. I worked at Scores and Tens in New York when I was, as a dancer, and in Philly I worked at cheerleader. So, as I went through, people would come in, and businessmen come from Wall Street and stuff, and I just start saying to them, hey, I give them messages, just trying to test it out, basically, tell them their names, and anyway, it caught on, and people would start coming in, women, and I'd be on stage, and I'd look down, and I'd see women in suits, and I'd say, oh, they're all here for me, and I would take them in the couch room, and instead of doing the private dance, they're getting readings from me, and back then it was like $20 a dance, whatever, and I made killing on doing readings, which I'll just get myself through college, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting myself through college. And that's how I got myself through school. I danced, and I was in Thomas Jefferson with a small group of elite people that made it in this occupational therapy group, and definitely came from a background that I didn't.
Yeah.
I came from.
So how does that? So now you said you controlled it, right?
Yeah.
So
So
how do you
when
do that? How
well,
does one control it?
When I went to college, I left the safety of my home. My grandmom slept with me and hugged me probably till I was like a teenager, and finally had to transition to my room, and I was like,
You still got that going on now.
Yeah.
Brian still.
Well, Brian. Pick on Brian.
So then I'd have the lights on, but I still had the security of grandmom's over here, if
Yeah.
I need her. So when I went to college and I'm by myself in my apartment, and I would just call my friend Kim, I remember, on the phone and talk to me until I can fall asleep, because I'd be so scared, and she'd stay on the phone because the monster, they'd start coming out. Like I'm 17 or whatever. And it was very scary, and I thought, I'm not going to be able to live by myself. I don't sleep. I'm exhausted. I'm trying to go to college. I'm working at night.
Can you kind of explain to me like how do they come out? You said the monsters come out. So
Uh-huh.
what do they attack? Do they
No.
just yell loud? Do they talk?
They're just
Like,
right there. Like,
Yeah.
they're there.
Mhm.
They're there, and they're just,
Are they telling you different stuff? Like they want you?
as we got older,
Yeah.
as I got older,
Okay.
they started saying, so I'll give you an example. So one time,
By the way, I should say that Brian's terrified. He thinks the devil's talking to you, but
Listen, in
no,
my
listen,
opinion,
so I can tell you a few
I
demon
don't want to
stories.
mess it. I'm in a closed room. I don't want to.
No, I can tell you some,
yeah.
Is
It
anybody?
doesn't happen to me anymore, but it used to. I know we're all bouncing everywhere. Listeners here, we're bouncing.
No, I'm
There's
trying.
lots
I'm
of
trying to
stories.
keep it in.
Yeah,
so
I
every
know.
time
Was it anybody that you
bring it
knew?
back.
Did you ever have anybody like that you like?
Yeah.
Your mom or anybody come through that you actually remembered that you knew?
Yeah, so I'll tell you one of my first stories, okay, of when someone I knew came through, I guess. Because I fought this. I didn't want this, I wanted to be, I was a dancer, right? And I came from, let's say, not the greatest neighborhoods and backgrounds. So I wanted to make it out of that and be
Where did you
something.
grow up?
I grew back and forth because I was with my grandmom, and then she got married, and I called him dad. I thought they were my mom and dad, so I found out when I was 8. That a crazy story. I lived with my uncles, so I was back and forth between
Boston.
South Lawrence, is that kind of outside Boston, and where I spent a lot of my time. And then when I was with my uncles and stuff, we'd be in Camden or Gloucester City, bouncing back and forth. Bounce back and forth.
Camden's nice.
Yeah,
It's
come a long
it's
way.
a place you want to visit.
Beautiful.
it was just crazy
Yeah.
stories.
So,
But
so sorry. So you got control. You said that at one point they started to,
oh yeah, so I'm
reach
living
out,
by
yeah.
myself and
Yeah.
I'm scared, and I thought, I'm gonna have to go home. I'm gonna have to, get out of this. I can't live in New York by myself. I can't. So I called my friend, and I could only sleep in the daytime because they go away in the day. So I met this girl, and she was telling me she's going to see a medium, and I should go with her, because I was telling her. And I said, okay, I'm in college, cool, let's go see this medium. And I'm like, I'm wearing this yellow dress, so this medium picks me. I want to hear from my mother because my mom was killed, I want to hear from her, so I'm going to go. So I wore my yellow dress. I sat up front. I'm hoping this medium picks me and says she's connecting to my mom. She didn't. But at the end, there's a table, and it says sign up for classes to learn, how to be a medium, whatever. I'm like, oh man, that sounds cool. My friend's signing up for it, Gretchen. I'm like, I'll sign up for this, let's sign up for it. And I went, and we're doing these different tests, and I'm just doing all this stuff. And I realized, oh, I didn't even know the word. Like, I'm a medium, And then I asked the lady, she wound up being my mentor. I said, how do I stop them? And she says, you just tell them to stop and put the light on. And if you have a cat, bring a cat. Well, if you know me, if I had a cat, my grandmom's got 4 of my cats at home. I corralled everybody up, brought them to my apartment. They slept next to me. I put the lights on, and that was the end.
They don't like cats?
No, spirits
Really?
don't like cats. So that was the end. Then they
Getting a
still wake me up sometimes.
Getting 4 cats.
Now, but
They
she,
still.
you control it so much now that when we do your galleries and she's got all different spirits in the room, she actually, nobody else can tell she's doing it. I can tell because I can see her eyes, but she is actually putting them in different lines. Like, you wait over here, it's not your turn, you guys over here, and she is putting all the different spirits in different spaces, getting them all organized.
Yeah.
Do you ever get really freaked out being in it? Like, do you ever, does she like saying,
Our-
Angela, somebody's coming in, like somebody that you
My
know? or something?
our grandmother's sister had the gift as well. It's in the bloodline. I've seen it my whole life. If you believe in one, you have to believe in the other.
And I didn't know that aunt because I didn't grow up with them.
Yes,
I didn't meet them, so I didn't know about her or her gifts. I didn't know.
She don't write Aunt Rita.
Stay where you are. I'm just gonna move this.
Yeah, Aunt Rita died before.
No,
we met
she
you.
didn't. She was alive, but I didn't know about her gifts.
Yeah. All right. So you figured it out. You learned how to quiet it.
Yeah, so I want to tell you a story about one of the first spirits that I literally knew I was speaking to. Okay, so I'm in bed because it happens at night, but now, like, I'm not scared, right? I'm controlling what I can. But what I didn't know is this people that died, that knew me, they're going to come wake me up and feel comfortable no matter what.
Yeah.
So I'm sleeping, and this spirit waking me up. Get up, Gina, get up, get up. Call Denise. Call Denise. Call Denise. This is my friend Denise. What for? I go, where is she? And he shows me where she's at, this factory. And she's like, he's showing me basically where she's at. You got to tell her I'm sorry, forgive her. It was her ex-husband, right? Blah, blah, blah. Tell her all this stuff. And I'm like, this is insane. Is this really true? This is insane. And he's like, yeah, she's at a hair convention, da, da, da. She's telling me this stuff. So I called Denise the next day. I'm like, this is so insane. But, I started telling her, I go, are you at a hair convention? She's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is insane. I, talked to Keith, actually woke me up. Woke me up and told me this thing and
Did she believe
everything.
you?
Oh, because it was too validated, yeah.
Yeah.
Now she can tell you now crazy stories because I went on to do a lot more, and then I thought this is insane, but then so much has happened, and one day I was sleeping again, and my friend Donna had a dog named Sandow. He was like my favorite little pit bull. He's waking me up, he passed, and I'm like, Sandow, what's going on? This is you? Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm completely nuts. I'm talking to a dead dog. I go, this cannot be true. I need some validation. Sandow. He's telling me, I miss my mom, I love my mom. Bullshit, I'm saying. Give me something concrete. Tell my mom I can't figure out the puzzle. Call up Donna the next day, another one of my good friends. Denise was my good friend, Donna's my good friend. I call her up, I go, this is insane, Donna, but Sandow came to me last night, and he's telling me this, and he couldn't figure out the puzzle, so she breaks down crying. I go, what's wrong? She goes, he had this puzzle, this Rubik's Cube or something, you put a treat in, a dog treat, and you have to figure it out to get the treat, and he could never figure it out.
So when the animal comes, you understand the animal.
Yeah, I'm a really good pet psychic. If you ever heard of Rescue Inc., Rescue Inc.
Yeah,
was
sure.
so I was with them. I was Rescue Inc. I was their psychic, and I went with the bikers and filmed did a lot of cool
And it's all,
stuff.
we're all
with them.
spirits. Like, it's all spirit, right?
Yeah.
So all the different animals are spirits. So she's connected to the spirit, not the actual.
So it's real when they say all dogs go to heaven.
Yeah.
All animals are brought here for pure love.
Not all animals though go to heaven. There's different realms, and not every animal has the spirit. And at different times, different spirits can pass in and out of that animal, and it can be used for that animal can be used for various things. It's not so black and white with the animals.
Okay.
So their animal can come back as another animal. I'm on my third reincarnation, the pumpkin, this new cat I have. It was Kramer, Germany, and now it's Pumpkin. Or sometimes they stay in spirit world, and sometimes they come back.
Would you, this is probably a little crazy, but would you be able to tell
Yes.
who the former owner was?
Yeah.
Yeah?
All the time.
And you're able to contact them and be like, hey, I got your cat right here?
Did it on Rescue Inc. Like,
Okay.
So, like,
That's pretty cool, huh?
I just, it was weird at first. Like I said, I couldn't believe it was happening. I was like, I'm insane. I'm completely insane. And then just too many validations. And then I started doing some pet healings. Too many pets healed for it to be a coincidence. Like, people know my journey. Leo, my cat, almost died when I was in the hospital with the cancer because he was so depressed he stopped peeing, and 2 vets wanted to put him down, and I was like, no. I took him home. I couldn't even stand from stem cell. However, I knew I had to heal this cat, and he pissed all over me. I'm not even supposed to be changing a litter box, but I was on my own through that cancer journey. My cousin came a few times, but I was pretty much on my own. This cat today is doing amazing. Like, that is cured. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. And same thing, this new feral I got, he was shot with a BB gun, and I was like, 3 shots with the BB gun. Everyone's like, yeah, take him. It was costing a fortune. I'm in cancer treatment. I work with kids. I'm not allowed to work with them right now. Like, I didn't have the money for that. I'm like, I'm going to heal them. And so I started there.
My daughter Maya lives in Pittsburgh, and her cat got out one night because the roommate left the door open. Like 12 o'clock at night, I'm texting her. She finally calls me, and I'm like, Maya's going crazy. Do me a favor. The cat's out. Just tell me, is it closed? Like, I had her put the litter box out. I had her they don't want to keep the door open because it's Pittsburgh. You don't want to keep the door open. Her food's out there all the night. All that. And she says, all right, give me a minute. She's close. She's in the alley right next to her. Right, is there an alley next to her house? I said, I don't know. I'll ask her. We'll tell her to go down that alley. She's not too far. She's hiding. She's going to come back to the door. Doesn't my daughter go out, and isn't that cat in the alley next to the house where she said it was?
So when I was auditioning for Rescue Inc., like all those biker guys are kind of scary, right? I wanted volunteer hours for physical therapy. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the animal shelter and volunteer. Little did I know I'm getting thrown into this thing, and they had this TV show, and so they want to interview me, and I'm like, the biker guy is like drinking Jack Daniels, like, get do these shots. Well, I'm ready.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh man, we had some fun times too. But so the one biker guy, he couldn't even be on camera, I remember. So he was saying to me, I was telling him about his dog. And I remember I said, there's something special about your dog. He opens the refrigerator and feeds himself. He's like, this bitch is good. The bitch is good. And I was like, I made it. I got it. And then I talked to the one guy, big biker guy, and I'm like, you never liked cats before, but then there was this one cat that got in your heart. And he's like, yeah, we're hiring the bitch. And I'm just like, all right. Then it's
You're like, can you stop calling me the bitch, though?
They called me that. And the scariest part is I remember filming one time. One of the guys had this scary bike. It's called Hell on Wheels. And they wanted to film me coming in on the bike. And I was scared to death. And I just had to be on the back of his bike. And we're driving just a little bit. And I'm like, oh, I'm scared. I'm screaming. But, man, it was fun. It was fun. It was a good experience. I just wanted some credits for college. It turned into some other things. And then I started pushing the animal things. I started working more with animals. And then I became the relationship expert from another thing. I had a little show. And that was just too much, man. I couldn't take it no more. You're now the losers cheating on you. God, they're no good. You 5 boyfriends. Like, I couldn't handle the relationship person anymore. I had to exit out of that.
When did you start working for Ghost Hunters?
Oh, Ghost Hunts. I was one of the lead investigators, and that's where the demons came in. This was a couple it was the pandemic. And it was just over, and so I had lost my job in New York, and I was back in Philly, and
Did you ever see Ghost Hunters?
Ghost Hunts.
I never watched
Ghost
a full
Hunts.
show.
It was
Kind of freaks me
well,
out.
this is Ghost Hunt USA. It's a different one.
Okay.
So
It's where they go into like the prisons and
Yeah.
stuff like that. All right, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
so I went to the Conjuring house so many times.
So many times.
I went to the craziest prison.
Tell them what you have to do when you go to the prison, though, to connect. Tell them what you have to do. What you
Oh, when I do shows or something, I take my shoes off.
So she's not only is she going into the prison, she's taking her shoes off in the prison.
And
But-
like some old, scary.
But I've been in so many prisons, and we have this box, right? It's called the Phasma box, right? And it picks up the language, the EFEDPs or something.
EMP.
Yeah. So way after I left, some of the investigators would say to me, they're still saying, where's Gina? I'm like, fuck it up. And I got EVPs from my house that you can hear these spirits coming home. So I have a back porch where I let the strays in. So I was talking to my friend Angie on the phone, and I was like,
When you
Yeah.
say strays, you're talking about regular dogs.
stray cats.
Okay. Not stray souls.
No,
No,
Okay.
just
stray cats. So
real, alive
so
stray cats.
I was on the phone.
There's
and
some ghost ones.
And I was like, man, this Philly shit's boring. I miss New York. I got to get back to New York. It was pandemic. I'm like, this is so boring here. So I'm talking to her on the phone, and I go back in. I was like, oh, shit, man. I think Leo got out. Let me check the camera. So I roll back the tape, and literally I got this on one of my social medias. I forget what one. I'm going, this is so freaking boring here. I hate it. And the spirit says on the camera, oh, my God, this is boring. I said, that's it. I'm
Now
never
it's-
going to the Conjuring house. Never going. Every time I come home from the Conjuring house, somebody follows
Sounds like a
me.
horror movie, The Conjuring House.
It is a horror movie. The
Is it
Conjuring-
really? The
Yes,
Conjuring.
it's The
I
Conjuring.
hate horror movies. Yeah.
It's a
That was a
horror
true
movie.
story? I didn't know it was a
Well,
true story.
in some aspects.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a true house in Rhode Island, you know.
Okay.
And every time I would come home, they would set my smoke alarms off. But
The
that,
lights, that time, the lights in your house.
so many things. But the oh my God, this is boring. And then one time I heard I have so much on my cameras that I caught. My ghost cats. But the spirit that said, oh my God, it's more boring. And then he said to me, hey baby. And I go, oh, fuck this, man. They're coming from the prisons now. They're with me, and I can't do this no more.
So bad ones, you think, will come through?
Well, they weren't great. They were in prison, right? Yeah. But they're just like men.
Not everybody in prison's guilty, though.
No,
I'm
they're
just
not.
kidding.
But you're right, though. I made friends with Walter, so I was auditioning to be a lead investigator. And I wanted to do good. And I was like, I'm going to be the lead investigator right away. I'm not waiting for anything. I'm going to show them what I can do. So
She's
I
very much an
to
overachiever.
I go to the Crescent, is my favorite prison, and I go in there and I'm like talking to the spirits, and I'm going, I need a friend who's going to help me. Everything I say, I want you to do it. So he makes friends with me. His name's Walter, and I say, Walter, can you give us a sign? Can you bang on the pipe? Bang, bang, bang. Walter, can you whistle? Whistle. He did everything for me. This spirit walked around being my friend for so long at Crescent.
You know what Walter did in real life? Was he like a serial killer or something?
I never got that deep.
He killed
with
mediums.
Yeah, he's a medium murderer.
him. There's so many stories I can tell you about Crescent. It's my favorite prison, and if I ever go back to doing anything again, which I don't know if I will, but
Is this an abandoned prison?
Yeah.
It is. All right.
it would be Crescent. One time I'm in the chapel, it's the church, and I have my group of people, and I'm facing, the stage is behind me, so the pews are here and the people are here, and I'm talking, and I say something, and a water bottle comes flying from behind me and crashes. Well, this was the scariest shit ever. Like, everyone's like, oh shit, everyone's running out of the chapel. There's like so many crazy stories. Being a lead investigator for ghost hunts was definitely an experience that I don't know. I don't know if I would ever go back to that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure.
So when you said you've seen, just curious, you've seen demons.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like how, I mean, from what I know, just being Catholic, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get away from them?
Okay, so I'll tell you my first demon experience. Well, my first and then my
You ready
second
for the
one.
demons? Or?
Brian's ready.
Sure.
All right.
We got a Bible. Do you want me to grab the Bible?
Yeah, grab the bottle. Get some holy water in here.
What? Anyway, so my first demon experience, this is before I even knew much was going on. I was in college, and I was in my apartment. I had an insane boyfriend at the time, one of the many, right? But
Was he the demon?
he was, but he wasn't. When you get to a certain point of alcohol and drugs, you open yourself up for certain things to
I
come
can
in.
see that.
So one time I'm laying in bed, and the demon, I named them. There was Lefty, he would come in, and then came in Crackhead Bob. And by the time Crackhead Bob got there, I needed to go because I was in danger. Lefty was still cool. But anyway, so I'm laying in bed, and I see the demon.
He was a good demon.
Yeah. Lefty was good, or
Lefty was pretty cool.
and Crackhead Bob was
Crackhead
bad.
Bob,
No good.
That sounds
Crackhead
bad.
Bob.
Yeah.
I named them. And then he had the
Crackhead
sergeant.
Bob does sound like a good time, though.
Yeah, right.
He wasn't.
We get
Lefty
very
Just
He's
being
kinda guy.
Crackhead Bob.
Remember Crackhead Bob from Howard
wasn't
Stern?
good.
Right.
Was it Crackhead Bob from Howard Stern? Remember that guy?
But I didn't know. Lefty was the cool one. Lefty was a lot of fun. But Lefty only got to a certain point, and then Crackhead Bob took over once we got so far gone. So one time I'm laying in bed, and I was studying. I had a test. And I heard, and I looked up, and I seen this thing coming. It was just like the head, and I knew it was Crackhead Bob. I just knew it. Something about my inside knew it was him. So he disappeared that weekend. Monday, I called the Jersey City police to see if he had got, arrested. And for some reason, I was lucky enough to get this arresting officer that was like, "You sound like a nice girl, hon. Please stay away from him. He's no good, whatever." He had gotten a fight that night, got hit over the head with something. He was in the hospital, but the police officer was warning me over this, and it was because when something else takes over. So that was one, but another time I was doing a reading in my New York apartment, and it was on phone session, and I connect to this lady who had a stalker, right? So I'm talking to her, and I'm connected to the stalker. I'm like, this guy, you have a spirit around you. I was connected to the spirit, and I started connecting new, and it was a past boyfriend that was passed. He got so mad, this spirit came into my apartment, was zipping around. My cats were going crazy. I couldn't get rid of him. I had the holy water. I had the rosary beads. I had the Bible. He was so mad that I was telling her who it was and what was going on. I had to change the trajectory and use psychology on a demon spirit and say, but he's good, he loves you. I'm changing the whole shitload around, going, just pray and that. to calm him down so he would leave.
Now to go back a little bit, the boyfriend. You think the boyfriend was possessed by demons?
No, I think that the demon came in to hang out with him once he got to a certain point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
And the demon, or the boyfriend passed on?
No, that boyfriend's still alive.
Okay.
I mean, he's passed on in my life, but, you know, he's still alive, man. He wound up going to jail for a long time
Wow.
because he did some bad shit. But because of that night and seeing that and then talking to the officer, that was the end of that.
No more crackhead Bob.
No, man, Crackhead Bob, Lefty, the sergeant, they all took a hike. Went on to somebody else. I pray for him all the time and say thank God for the new one.
So, Gina, earlier you said you worked with kids. Does this help you with working with kids? Is this an asset to your abilities?
It does, because I worked with kids with autism, right? So they're nonverbal. So I studied autism. I did sensory integration for my master's thesis. I did my doctorate degree on autism and jiu-jitsu to see what a difference it made in child's lives, which it did. But I was able to communicate to the child that was nonverbal's higher self. So in Manhattan, you know, where everyone wants to be someone, that's why I got my doctorate, because I wanted to be a sought-after therapist. But if I got my doctorate, everybody wants me, right? So the Upper East Side, I had a long waiting list. Everyone wanted me because I was supposedly the best therapist. But I talked to the child that was nonverbal, and they would tell me what they wanted, what they didn't like in the room. And when I'd say when they're going to be able to walk. When I was psychic medium, they didn't catch on. They just thought I was the best therapist. A couple of them caught on. And I have great wild stories about the parents that did catch on.
What about the angel story?
There's so much to go into here. We need 10 podcasts. 10 podcasts. This is like the Jack of all touch on podcast, okay?
Just mentioning autism and jiu-jitsu, that's going to be a catchy thing. That's a very popular subject.
So, question. All right, so you're a medium, you're still a medium, and you you moved into this different vertical, right, with, you got your doctorate in counseling?
No, occupational therapy, yeah.
How did you kind of traject into that? And then I think I have a daughter that's autistic, right?
Okay.
I think that's amazing, right? Mm-hmm. But how did you kind of transition into that? Did it kind of just fall in your lap, or were you planning just to be an occupational health therapist and then?
No, I was planning on not being this.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to run from it for a long period of time. Then I did it to get myself through college when I was dancing, you know. And then I feel like God kept throwing me back into the ring of this is what I have to do to carry out my mission, you know. But there's something with the autism that I feel like I still need to be a part of because I get a lot of, I did early intervention too. So I had a lot of mothers and fathers that would not believe in the diagnosis that the preschool teacher was given. And me being able to talk to the higher self of that child who was still a spirit connected to that world and was talking to me like a typically developing child and saying, listen, I hate the room, I hate these sheets, I don't want to be in here with my brother, like telling me things that when the parents changed and we made a world of difference, and I saw it and I thought, so it started bringing my mediumship back. I didn't think I was going there. I did Rescue Inc. because I needed to get some volunteer hours. It wasn't because of anything else. I did the readings in the strip bars because I made money. But the end goal was to be a therapist. And then I just started realizing, wow, I'm working with these autistic children. Lots of stories about them, but just to sum it up, like I knew I was making a difference in their lives, and I started only taking early intervention children with autism because I was connecting to them. And sometimes our session would be me and the kid just sitting there, and the kids, you know, playing, and I'm having a whole conversation with them. No one might know it, but me and the child, and he's telling me what he hates to eat and why he won't eat that, and you know, and then I'm also talking to the spirit guides, and I connect to the council. I asked them who they were. They said, call them the council. They're in charge of our soul's journey. So I would bring the council in and bring the guides in, and sometimes their grandmother would come in, you know, different people around the child. And I would get a plan of action that wasn't just written by Gina, Dr. Gina, the therapist. I had a lot of help here. And I started following that plan.
Do you work for any kind of like school? Or?
Not now, because I had to go through stem cell, and I can't work with kids for 2 years.
Okay.
Until I get my immune system.
Prior to that,
You're not allowed to be by kids either.
Prior-
That's not funny, Joe.
prior to that, she couldn't practice anymore in New York because she was
Anybody saw
COVID
Joe's
time and
tight
she wouldn't get
pants,
the
he would
COVID
know.
shot.
Oh yeah, I lost
Because-
my
what was it?
job first because of that. I wouldn't get the COVID shot.
Okay.
So that
was the original
that was what,
trajectory.
you know, I wasn't going to get the shot.
I think you're not
Thank
the
God
only
you
one
didn't.
that has clean blood in here, except for this kid.
Brian had to get the shot. I wouldn't get the
I
shot.
listen.
I
I got
wouldn't wear
the
the
welfare
red.
one, the Johnson and Johnson one. I regret it every
It's
day.
good.
All right.
I'd be dead if I got the shot.
What about you, Winston?
I didn't get it.
You're clean blood too?
Yeah.
man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't get.
What about you, Ange? You got it?
Ange got
Yeah.
it.
The first and
If
second
I
one.
would have got the
That's it.
shot and got the lymphoma cancer I had, I wouldn't have made it. I know that.
Yeah.
I said,
No, it's fine. They just gave immunity to Fauci, so everything's good. It's all
But you
good.
get that shit. And I wouldn't wear the control device. I had friends that said to me, I'm not going in that store, Gina. You're going to put the mask on? I said, no, I'm not wearing the control device. I'm not wearing it. Not going to do it. I had this one lady, I remember in Walmart. She came running after me. She had, limping after me with her cane.
You should have been like, your husband cheated on you. He just told me. No, get out of here.
Get away from me. She said,
You don't want to mess with me, lady.
you don't want to mess with me. My nickname in
I
this.
could blow you up right
now.
By the way, your dead mom hates you.
I taught psychic school, and so we had some different psychics, and my nickname was the fire starter, and that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
For sure. But, so anyway, yeah, the control device, I wouldn't wear it. Too many people hunt me down.
So being you know, an occupational health therapist, did you get any? Did you ever kind of push? First of all, did you tell people that you were a medium?
No.
Because
Absolutely not.
I would think like a lot of parents are already thrown off by the whole thing. They'd be like, well, wait a minute, now
No.
she's gonna, you know,
No.
she's talking to the spirits.
No.
You know.
So there was one time, 2 times. So one time I was doing early intervention, and this one guy wouldn't leave me alone. I'm with the kid. And the guy would not leave me alone. He's following me around.
Guide me.
A spirit, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell my sister, remember I taught her how to ride a bike. Tell my sister, da. And I'm like, oh, I was like, listen, I'm a kid. This is embarrassing. You know, and he kept on me, and he said, listen, you can stay. She's making pork chops. Right? And finally I said, listen, I said to the lady, I told her, and I said, are you making pork chops? She said, yeah, and she started crying. Everything I said was true. But I felt, me and this lady are
Felt
still
comfortable.
friends to
Yeah.
this point now, you know, and I work with some of her family members, but there was that.
Do you normally see like we're in this room together? Is there any like? Do you
Because
see
I'm shut
anything?
off.
Okay.
You know, I'd have
Okay.
to open up, but sometimes there's a tough
Yeah.
spirit that's just
Just
nagging
has to-
on me, like
yeah.
that just wants me, no matter what, I'm shut off or
Say
not.
we're not loved.
Yeah, I know. Nobody
Well,
would done
Likes
it.
us, no one's-
But-
no one's
Once
saying I
all
love
my
you.
relatives are gone, they go, all right, see you later. Yeah, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I-
I'll see you in the next life.
I
Yeah.
shut it off because it takes so much energy
No,
from
yeah, I
me.
get
Don't
it.
tempt her. You got
I'm
a
not
half
doing.
hour
I'm
left.
not doing tap cancer alpha Papa
You
Russell.
got a half hour left.
You know what? He
You
didn't
can
come
turn
back.
on.
It takes me a lot of energy to pull open that
Yeah.
channel, and
yeah.
then I'd have to have my shoes off. It's got to be a whole thing.
Okay.
The way I am, and I have to have protection, like, you know,
Yeah.
unless there's this persistent spirit again that knows me or feels like, you know, they're going to push through, which happens occasionally. Because sometimes I do straight psychic guidance. I connect to the council. It's a different channel, and when I'm connecting that way, which is a different way to connect, sometimes somebody will push through. But I got pretty strong boundaries and pretty good protection where they don't let it come unless I open and allow it. Because again, it's enough energy, especially knocks me down sometimes.
What drew you to occupational health therapy?
All right, so I was in NYU. Exercise science was my major, and psychology, and I was a personal trainer. And I would get these women, older women, you know, and I'm young, personal trainer, and they're like, this boyfriend, this, I'm like, God, all these men problems, like this is something I should be. I was in school for exercise science. I should go to school and be a psychologist, man, because I'm psychologizing these rich women, you know, I'm in Manhattan. So I was like, let me get the double degree. So I got the degree, right? And then I was like, oh, okay. So I took some time for a while, went to Vegas, got thrown into that lifestyle, crazy. Oh my God. The Vegas story is another podcast, okay?
We might have to divert. Let's just go to that one right now.
Oh man, the Vegas is insanity. What happened in Vegas?
It stayed there, so it's good.
It didn't. There's some evidence, but anyway, so needless to say, with
Wait,
everything that
I'm
happened,
using my powers. I feel like you have a child from Vegas.
No,
Oh.
no, I could have. But
You don't know?
I didn't go that way. I thought. That's funny. Yeah, pretty good. But I decided not to have a child. You know, there's some things.
All right. So we'll reel it back. You were counseling these older women, and what kind of?
So then, the boyfriend at the time had a child in Vegas, and he wanted to move there and be with his child. And I had finished college and stuff. I was personal training, and I was like, all right, let's go to Vegas. So I go to Vegas, get a job, personal training, not making enough. I wasn't happy. I'm like, oh man, I want to work at the Spearmint Rhino down here.
So your guy went to dancing?
Yeah, I just grabbed the G-string and jumped on stage, man. And I was like, I got to make some money. So then...
I get like that sometimes.
Right.
I can see you in a G-string, Joe.
Sometimes you just got to make it happen, you know? Got to get that money.
You got to get the money. I thought, this is insanity. I'm making nothing here. I'm in Vegas. Crazy boyfriend, whatever. So wind up in Vegas, and like I said, this story is so long. But let's put it.
How'd you get to occupational therapy school?
God messed a lot of things up in Vegas and sent me crazy around. I wind up in California, back in Vegas, and then I said, I'm going back to school for my master's. And I decided to come back home to Philly and went to Thomas Jefferson to turn my life around, get my master's. I became a bartender.
She just dropped Vegas in a big envelope and hit all that, whatever went on there.
Vegas to California, but there's lots of stories. Lots of stories, but a lot of it was God, man. God kept trying to come into my life since I was 2. I could tell you a million God stories.
How do you feel that intersects with? Because there's a lot of
there's so
like
much,
me and Joe are talking about it. Like
it's
the
precedence.
churches, they think it's demons.
Yeah, because they just think of this, okay? God,
I teach Sunday school and I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
God
well,
was,
maybe you're a demon in disguise. Yeah.
God was a
We
spirit.
just seen that demon that just taught that Trump
Yeah,
was in
right.
the audience.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna get
Bishop, are you a
started here.
Are you
I'm
a
gonna
bishop?
lose everything. I can't go there.
Well, that lady. I mean, like I'll just say this. I'll go sideways for 2 seconds. When I first seen that lady, I thought like every scary movie I ever seen, like where a priest got possessed. That's exactly what that person looked like.
You're right.
So when I saw that lady, I was just like, "Whoa, this
That's
is
a bishop. Okay.
yeah. Is this a movie?" You know.
Oh
Anyway,
my God.
I digress. Go ahead.
That's so funny. Shit, we can't go there because we can't make that left turn. But yeah, that was insanity, and I forget where I was.
She only knows. What
So we're saying like where like religion intersects with being
so
a medium.
let's shoot to when I was 2 real quick. When I was 2 years old, as far back as I can remember, we'll say. I don't know if it was 2, but as far back as I can remember. And I'm living in New Hampshire. And I'm on the swing set. My friend's yard, me and one of my other friends, Brenda, were on the swing set. And my grandma always told me, don't go up to strangers' cars, blah, blah. It's imprinted in your head. So this car pulls up over here in the back road. And they're calling us over. I'm like, no. Brenda goes, I'm going to go over. Brenda was older than me, whatever. And I'm like, I'm not going over. So she comes back with these pamphlets at Baptist church about going to Baptist church. And I took them home to my grandma and said, I want to go. You know, I want to go. And my grandma had dropped all religion when my mother got killed because my mother had me out of wedlock. So they weren't allowed to give her a high Catholic burial in her church.
You know Uncle
So-
Michael? My Uncle Michael.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So she had dropped all religion. So I begged her if I could go to this church of two. And I started going and loving it. I still have my Bible from then, my first Bible that they gave me. And it was John the Baptist. And I started going and I got saved and everything probably by the time I was 7. So I was there for 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
God was coming into my life, right? Then my grandmom and who I thought was my dad, I thought they were mom and dad at that time. Again, another story. But we moved back to Philadelphia
Sounds
for
like
a little
Superman,
bit.
right? Superman story. Right?
It's insane.
It's in the book.
It's
We'll just say
it'll
that.
be in
It's in the book.
when the book comes out. But so anyway, lost God and everything because I wanted to go to CCD and Grandma hated religion at this point. And she's like, no, for some reason she let me go to this church because I loved it so much. But I used to wait outside the CCD steps for my friends, wishing I could go in. But
Do you think there was a drive to go there just because of the stuff that you were seeing,
Yeah.
like in your sleep and stuff?
because God was trying to get me since
Yeah.
I was 2 to give me the protection I needed. And flash forward real quick, I got in a fight with some girl at the bar, and the bouncer pulled me off her and broke my arm. So I wind up I went in hospital and my
Fire
Yeah.
story.
Okay.
I was like traumatized. I'm in there like that, you know. People were coming in to stare at me. It was insane. But I had a broken arm.
Bone sticking out.
Bone sticking out. I had a spiral fracture.
They're like nice shoes.
Yeah.
I don't think I had shoes on, but anyway, and I'm in there, and I went into trauma, started throwing up. It was a bad break. The bouncer broke my arm, pulled me off her, broke my arm. So then the priest came, and he started talking to me, and I was talking to him, and he asked me my religion. I didn't have a religion, really. I said I went to the Baptist church, I got saved, whatever. So he talked me into getting my sacraments. Now I'm like
Okay.
18, 19, I don't know. And I go and do all my sacraments myself. God pulls me back, gets me on the straight and narrow. I'm good. I'm being good girl. Again, good Gina, doing this stuff. And then one thing led to another, and back into the world of not so good. And flash forward to when I went to Vegas, and I was with the crazy boyfriend, and Randall
I feel like
Cunningham.
all lines go back to Vegas.
You got to stay out of Vegas.
Randall Cunningham was in the gym I used to go to. He was a quarterback from Philly. He found out I was from Philly, and he wanted to help me because I was trying to get away. And he set me up. His studio. He has a church there, Studio 7. So I started going, and he got me away from this guy. Helped me with everything. Really was my big savior, mentor. Again, back to God.
Randall
He
Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham.
Okay.
told me not to go to California because this, and this would happen.
Mhm.
Didn't listen to him when everything he said happened. Came back, went back to Philly, got back in crazy stuff again. Flash forward, cancer. The chaplain came in, realized my mission. God wants me to talk about spirit. Always did.
Mhm.
Just kept taking turns, and he kept trying to pull me in, and I kept denying and going the other way.
See, I think it's funny because we're talking about, there's some theories that, mediums are being tricked, and it's really the devil that's talking to the medium and telling them
No.
different things, right? No, this is like, this
Yeah.
is what people think. The funny thing is if you go back to, scripture and the Bible and, John the Baptist and all the others that you were talking about, they all have those visions,
Yes.
right?
Signs and visions.
And they
I will
all
give
talk
to you,
about
I will
that.
I will give
Yeah.
to your daughters and sons signs and visions.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Which is funny because we all supposedly, right, when I was younger, I was always taught that there's certain people with certain gifts.
Yes.
But that gift in particular was the evil gift, and you didn't
No,
want that gift.
it's
right?
a gift of prophecy. It's
Yeah.
the gift of knowledge.
Because
It's the gift of word.
their explanation is that
And discernment.
the people
discernment. There's a
aren't
whole-
coming back. Like if someone dies, they're in a great place. They're not coming back to talk to us. That it's actually like, because like I remember, I think I was telling you the guys from my brother's firehouse. A bunch of people in my brother's firehouse died, so they went to John Edwards with the widows and stuff, and
Yeah.
and he came through at the end when the show was over, and like what you're saying, you push people away. So they were saying the show was over. They didn't. Nothing happened to them. So at the end, he's going, I can't deny a kid. He won't deny a kid, right? So it turns out, according to them, one of the guys in the firehouse, his niece had gotten killed in the Brooklyn Cyclone. And nobody in the firehouse knew the story. And they were like, they had no idea how John Edwards could have known. Even if he researched them. Like, because technically they got the tickets because they were first responders, so he could have found, because like, he did general stuff. Like one of the guys supposedly came through, and he was one of the guys that died. And he's like, oh, he got hit in the head. But if they knew who these guys were, all right, they died in the Trade Center. Of course he got hit in the head with something, right? But then he did some specific stuff. Like he said to the one widow, he's there with your son. And they were like, bullshit, because they didn't have a son. They didn't, and it turns out she had a miscarriage, and nobody knew about it. And it was a boy, and they were like, "Oh
So
my
that
God."
couldn't be Satan knowing, because that little baby's soul goes to a special
Yeah,
place in
but
heaven.
so like, but the point like that, the priests that do exorcisms and stuff, like their view of it, how they explain it is, this lady and her husband knew that they were pregnant with a boy. It's not right. So it's not that the baby spirit came through. It was that he knew that Stan was with his son, right? But that a demon was in the room when they had that conversation. So like, if my grandmother comes through and says something that only we knew.
Well, scripturally, that says that's going to happen, because Satan is going to use, he has dominion over the earth, obviously.
Right.
Him and a third of the angels that fell have dominion over the earth, and he's going to use good, bad, and indifferent to get to you. So of course he's going to definitely intertwine and get into the minds of some mediums, which is why when Gina said, I'd have to protect myself.
Right.
Like, there's a
'Cause-
protection that you do
Yeah.
that keeps, I believe, and everyone has their own belief, and I'm a Jesus.
You're a firm believer
I'm a
that people
Jesus.
should be believing.
I'm I'm just a believer that everybody should be kind and
Yeah.
loving and not judging. That's my belief. But the end of going back to what I was saying, you have the demons that are using the medians, but then you have the medians that are also being used by the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
Giving gifts of word of knowledge, prophecy, visions. So, yes, demons, absolutely. That is
You're
true
saying
case.
basically if you don't protect yourself
Yeah,
properly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because their explanation.
And if you don't have discernment, now one of her strongest gifts is discernment. So you also have to, and when you're given these,
What's discernment?
just
God.
so discernment scripturally is, you can discern someone's intentions. So you walk in the room and you're trying to sell me something. Are your intentions to rip me off?
Like when I go see the mechanic, I'm like this guy.
Yeah.
If you definitely, you have a really good gift of discernment. It's, you can tell what people's true intentions are. So having a gift of discernment as a medium, I'm sorry, not only do you have your gift, but as a follower of Jesus, anything that she's going to project to anyone else, before it comes out, she's going to bring it back scripturally.
So this is
And make sure that it aligns
Okay.
with the Word of God before she's even going to allow it to come out of her mouth. Not that she's going to go into the Bible and look for a verse, but she's going to say, is this going, how is this helping? How is this healing?
Right.
How is this working to bring kingdom here? What is this doing for the end game of Jesus? Like, not, am I going to tell you that your boyfriend's cheating, you got to, that's not what it's about
But
anymore.
why are the spirits still around? Like when you die, like
That I can't, and she has to
touch
answer that.
on something real quick. Where you said the demons. All right, so I call them tricksters, right? Or done?
No.
So I call them tricksters, and they come in, and a lot of my
I know people in real life that are tricksters.
Yeah, there are. They're the tricksters. So tricksters come in. I get a lot of people that'll say to me, "Oh, I'm seeing the sign. I'm seeing the sign. I know the guy's for me." And I'm like, "Oh man, they're getting the tricksters. The tricksters are coming." But it's just an energy that's coming to them.
You think it's like
They're
a purgatory
projecting.
that they're in? Like, why would they not, like, why are they not in heaven? Why are they not in hell? Why are they hanging around? And, like,
The people, they're not. Like, I'm a different type of medium. This is another crazy story, episode 15 podcast. My sacrum, when I first got diagnosed with cancer, they found this lump in my sacrum, right? And they're like,
What's the sacrum?
the sacrum, the
your
bone.
back.
Okay.
So,
Spine?
yeah.
Okay.
So they're saying, okay,
This is not just for me, it's for everybody that's listening.
yeah. So they're saying it was in the central nervous system, the lymphoma. So they found something in my head, and then so they said the sacrum, right? This sacrum, they couldn't. I had 14 tests, 2 live biopsies, 5 spinal taps, so many, and they couldn't find cancer in the sacrum. They couldn't find it. They held up my stem cell, held up everything. Somehow, on my phone, I got a Google download of 64 pages of Mesopotamia and how the medicine men and people used to, their spirit would leave their body through the sacrum. And when they died, they took their sacrum because they were special healers.
Mm.
So the tumor board, we're talking high doctors at Robert Wood Johnson and Cooper, they laugh at me and they go, "This is the sacrum girl," because there was no cancer, but it kept lighting up at 17 point something on the PET scan that it was cancerous, but we can't get it. And this article talked all about it, right? So as a medium, for me, some mediums sit here and they say medium because you meet the spirit halfway. I actually leave, I take all my energy and I leave and I go find them. So you're saying they're hanging around. Sometimes they are, but sometimes I find them. It's like a house of mirrors. I pick them out of different places and I go find them. And that's what I think, if you listen to any of my past shows or my episodes or talk to any of my clients, my details, and I did so many 9/11 people, and I got a lot of clients whose family I connected. And the details would be as much as, like, you buried me with the cross, thank you for the picture. Like, the details, my details are really details.
Yeah, I mean that's what like guys from the church's explanation, because I always said, oh, like to me I'm never really sure, like even growing up Catholic I always had like I don't know, like I'm not a good Catholic, you know, but it made me, wow, there is. And then
Yeah.
a guy that I was friends with was like, no, that's, and he was more of a born again Christian, but
Yeah.
he was explaining, no, that's demons.
Yeah.
The demons are
They
using
say that.
people, and then I heard
It's true, though, that
I think it was
happens.
actually on the Sean Ryan show. He had a guy on who was a Catholic priest who did exorcisms, and he was explaining it. He was saying that sometimes, you know, it's the mediums are being used,
Yeah.
but and he's saying like his explanation of it, I guess, according to
It makes it
doctrine.
sounds like it's all in line though. Like if you know you have
Sure.
certain protection, you're
Yeah.
you know
And the protection don't always work.
Yeah.
You know, but it's true. You can watch.
Mhm.
I mean, I can discern, but I think anyone can. If you can watch a medium and you think, like I said, I had to check myself. Am I crazy? Because you'll see some mediums and you think they're insane. And you're looking at them like, and I taught psychic school for knowledge and stuff. And some people are completely insane, so they let anything come in. So it's true, they do use these people.
Yeah, but some of the deal, like I said, when they got the thing from John Edwards, it was so specific of things that they were, because at first, you know, they said they got the tickets because they were for, you know, I guess they sent them to a bunch of first responders, but they didn't know who the tickets were going to. Like it just, they threw the tickets out. So he goes, like they were like, the research that would have had to have gone on to
Right.
find out, and like nobody knew the story of the girl dying on the cyclone. You can't, if you Google it, it doesn't even come up. And then there was other specific things that were like, there was no, so
Yeah.
there were a lot of details, but
Yeah.
So let's compare it to one of her shows quickly. I've been to a couple of the galleries that she's done, and I've watched family members come through, and I've watched people heal from a message from a family member. Now, what demon is going to use her to heal?
right, and that's when I hear the one side explain it, I
Right.
say, oh, okay, because they're just saying they're getting into you. The demon is using you to get whatever reason. I mean, I don't know why.
It's the same explanation
You know?
for like a Ouija board or something like
Well,
that.
that was the
You
other
don't
thing.
have
They were
protection.
saying Ouija
Right.
boards.
Right.
They were like, don't ever go near a Ouija board.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I had started a Ouija board at 4 probably,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, I don't know.
They're no
I mean,
good.
Oh, you're saying they're not good.
no, it's bad energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, plus you
absolutely.
don't have the protection.
And you don't have the
right?
protection, and
I'm so highly protected, like with the angels, and things still got to me, you know. So no matter what protection you have, you're still putting yourself at risk. You're putting yourself there.
I think there are really battles going on. Some
There's
people
battles
think,
all the time.
all the time.
Right now,
all the
I'm
time. Ephesians will tell you, put on the full armor of the Lord.
Yeah.
For we do not fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities of this world.
negative
so
energy.
there's like full battles going
Full
on.
battles.
full battles, right?
The
Even
helmet
with-
about salvation, the breastplate of truth. There's a whole slew of armor that we're to put on because the spiritual battles are the ones that we're fighting, not the physical ones.
Yeah.
And we leave that to God.
Right.
You know, but yeah, it's constant protection, and because of God, these last 2 cancer journeys, which like, man, I've been through some stuff, but these last cancer journeys I've been through, I know, and I'm not the person, like I used to get so jealous. I was reading books when I was in the hospital, and Joyce Meyer would say, and God told me, or another preacher, Andrew Womack would say, and I heard God's voice. I'm like, why don't I hear God's voice? That's Jesus' voice. I don't hear nothing. And so one time I heard, you have to go through this. We can't send you out there like you are. We got to clean you up and make you learn first. We're trying to clean you up. So that was my first cancer journey. And then I understood the mission was like, we got to isolate you. I had to be isolated for months, you know. We have to isolate you. We have to clean you up. We got to give you more background of me, God. So when you're given these messages, you're coming from me, you know, because you have gifts, but you're not utilizing them in the way that you were sent, your mission.
In the
your
middle of
soul's
cancer.
journey that you came down here for.
In the middle of cancer, with all of the knowledge that she's being given, she opened up a 501c3.
Oh yeah, I opened a 501c3 for cats, because I didn't have no one to
in
watch
the middle
my
of
cats.
cancer.
I didn't
More
have-
back to overachieving.
Well,
While
I didn't
getting
have
her
no one
black
to
belt.
watch.
While getting a black belt.
So I didn't, and I realized, like, if I had a baby, someone would take my baby, right? If I had a dog, I could find someone, but no one would take my cat. Plus, you don't pull them out of their environment. And so I started a 501c3, and I was, God
What is that
gave
for
me,
exactly?
give people with cancer that can't afford to take care of their cats. They have someone come to their house and feed them and
Okay.
take care of them, give the pictures, videos, and God forbid they die, because I have stories about that. Lots of stories about how the cat rescue, Alley Cats Angels. We can talk about that. Another thing. I know we're
That's
on a
the
limit.
that's the baseline of it. Meals are
We
going
could
to be
definitely have
added
you
to
in
it.
again and talk about,
Yeah,
you know,
we can talk about
Yeah.
the Alley Cats Angels and how all my gifts.
we'll do a
you know.
Vegas one
Oh,
first.
Vegas.
Yeah,
then.
Vegas
Yeah.
one.
You know what?
I don't
have to
even
tell
know
you
all the
something.
stories from Vegas.
Do you want to know?
It's-
I don't know.
it's
A Sunday
insane,
school teacher
because
might not
you're
want to hear
reading
that.
me
I
a little
do.
bit, you know, now, and you got some good. You're right on about a lot of things.
Yeah, I got
I've never been to Vegas.
when I had this dream when I was younger, right? My mom was always, you know, she would. We never believed her, and I still skeptical because my mom's a little nuts, right?
Yeah, we're all nuts.
Yeah, I had a dream when I was younger, and I was about. My sister just lost her son, and I was young. I was, you know, maybe 7 or 8, and there was a question on. I was going through like catechism and stuff like that. I was just starting, you know, and my mom. We had a question about belief, and I had a dream where someone came to me, and I was on the altar, and they looked at me, and I said, I believe. And then the priest said, no, you don't. You know there's a difference. And I looked at him, and I woke up, and I told my mom the story. And then we kind of had that discussion on the difference between having faith and, you know, knowing kind of beyond. You know,
Well, you
what's-
definitely have abilities. Let me just
Yeah.
tell you that. You didn't explore them and stuff, but you got them. Just side note.
There you go.
Great. I already knew he knew everything. Now he really knows.
I see dead people.
He hears shit, Brian.
So, just kind of, you know, I definitely want to circle the wagon. I know we got, you know, time
About 5
crunch here.
minutes.
So I want to touch on you're going to do a book. I want to talk on like the podcast and the other things that you're doing. So, just to kind of, you know, you're medium. You got your occupational health therapy doctorate, right? How does jiu-jitsu kind of tie into this?
Man, jiu-jitsu saved my life.
Yeah. Was that more of a grounding
That's
thing?
a commercial right
Right.
there.
Oh yeah, big time.
I had a bad temper, you know, bad. And I used to fight a lot, and I came in bad neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And I was like the girl that I lived in bad neighborhoods, but my family got money shady ways. So we were like
Don't give
undercover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would be
Too
picked
close to
on
home.
because I was, you know, cute and had little things and the
You wore
tough
your
people.
G-string.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wore my G-string.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I got picked on, so I had to fight young. And my uncles would say, "You get back out there, baby doll," and he'd be drinking his beer and saying, "Get back out there and fight." I get back there and fight, man. I fought everybody. By the time I was in school, I had a reputation. I fought people, and I was winning all the time. So I had to win, but I was a street fighter. And so I had to turn it into something that was legal.
Yeah.
And I remember being in Muay
Was
Thai.
legal.
And Mike, man, he almost
I'm
had
into
money.
these legal.
Well, I don't know.
fights.
I don't know him. My friend Bobby trains him.
Illegal.
So it was like I got to be violent, but
Yeah.
I wasn't hurting anyone. And it was hard in Muay Thai because you kick them, you know, it takes time. Your UK and they're back and forth. And they kick me, and I kick them right the fuck back. Like I'm thinking, oh wait, it's not my turn. Shit, you know. Being
I'm like, we're just demonstrating a move, Gina. Relax.
Like, and I remember one time in jiu-jitsu, one of the girls just started going crazy on me. I just nailed her out like it was jiu-jitsu, and the instructor threw me out. And me and Henzo Gracie, he took me out for drinks and laughed. He's like, "You're back in, you're back in." We had drinks and we laughed.
He'd probably thought it was great.
He thought it was great. So like jiu-jitsu really balanced me. It gave me that frustration outlet that I crazy ass needed to calm down and keep it together. And then I was very competitive, so I needed to be the best.
Did you compete?
Huh?
Did you ever compete?
I did until a girl broke my nose and sent the blood across the mat. It was in Muay Thai, and I thought jiu-jitsu then scared me because I didn't want people close to my face because my nose was broken. I was scared. And then after that, like I didn't compete because I needed to keep the face looking. I'm looking.
Yeah, at least jiu-jitsu, you're not getting punched out and stuff.
No, man, jiu-jitsu
Or
is
you get
hard
like
too.
crossface and stuff like that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
I
shit,
know.
man.
Yeah.
Hitting the injuries I had in jiu-jitsu, like in-house tournament, fingers broke, collarbone, ACL. Like I had some injuries.
You did use it to get through cancer, though. It was a strive for
Yeah,
you to get your
jiu-jitsu.
black. Like
Yeah.
she was so focused on getting her black belt, achieving that
Every time in between treatments.
cancer became secondary.
Yeah.
So you did that while you were going for
Well,
treatment?
it was like
Yes, sir.
I was ready for my black belt anyway, but I wasn't going to give it up the first round of treatment. The second round of treatment, when I had to have extreme chemo and had a stem cell, I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk.
So how'd you get through it? Like the classes are exhausting. Well, I mean,
Well, by
for
the
me, I
time,
couldn't
like,
do it as
I
much.
was ready to get it anyway, but I knew that I had to show up. You know, at that point, I didn't have to be the toughest person or the stronger dude, and then I didn't have to do as much. You know.
Yeah, it's
That's towards
amazing.
the
Oh
end.
yeah, because you were a little bit more
Yeah,
experienced.
I was
so.
a little bit like I ain't rolling with you. I'm not rolling with you. I'll
Yeah,
take
you could pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're not getting smashed all the time.
right.
So, how do the listeners right now reach out to you? Are you? But by the way, do you do sessions now?
I have, thank you God, but I have a lot of clients,
Okay.
so I'm busy.
Okay.
I just started taking some new clients on for
Okay.
personal sessions, but I'm doing events now.
Okay.
Again.
Once a month.
Anything you want to give shout outs for?
Um, Yeah, so
do you have an Instagram handle?
Yeah.
I forgot. Are we still live streaming?
yeah.
No, I
So,
totally forgot you were live streaming.
drginamarie.com. That's my website.
Okay.
drginamarie.com.
Spelled out doctor, not DR.
DRGINA Marie.com.
Okay.
And my Instagram is Dr. Gina Marie. And let's see, my Facebook is Psychic Medium Gina Marie. My YouTube is Dr. Gina. Find me that way.
Yeah, we Googled Dr. Gina.
Oh, okay.
And then you also you do have a book. You're writing a book.
I'm writing a book which started the second time around in cancer after I started the 501c3.
Okay.
Then I heard the message. Like I said, I was jealous I couldn't hear God, but I heard, now you got to write a book so people can know a little bit about your background, because we got to believe who you are. We need to know about you a little bit,
Yeah.
you know.
Need to know the backstory.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
Thanks for coming on. I
Thank you
appreciate
so much.
it.
I
Thank
had
you.
a great time.
And we'll tag all your handles and everything on the clips.
Okay, great.
And cut everything.
Say goodbye to Instagram.
Oh yeah, bye
Wanna
my
say
friends,
goodbye?
whoever followed this.
Oh,
Can we
turn it.
point the camera at my friends over here?
Yeah.
Brian, Joseph, Vince. He's kind of stick his head here.
Hi, Vince.
These are guys I admire. You know, they do the things that I can't do, and I want to do. You know, I want to, but. Thank you. That was so fun.
That was amazing.
Yeah, fun. So much more. I wanted to.
Yeah, no, you can come back. I
Yeah, you
mean,
got about another
yeah.
15, 16 hours.
I got so much shit.
We can go so many
So
different
many
directions.
different ways, so
Yeah,
many
yeah,
different
yeah.
times. There's so much more to
But
talk about.
does she have to save it or
It was very
anything?
interesting. like,
I'm not.
No.